3, 2, 1. Roll the footage. Welcome everybody to the Strategy Show. I'm your host, Simon Severino. Super excited to have here the leading voice in the direct-to-consumer subscription economy, co-founder and chairman of SUBTA. Coming up, the SubSummit, November 4th, 2020 and May 2021. Welcome everybody. Chris George.
Hey, Simon. Thanks so much for having me on.
So cool to have you here because we will explore first what is direct-to-consumer subscription economy and then how we can crash that. And then you have brought some CEO tips about building an amazing team, spending like you're broke, and how to love it. So I'm excited. And Chris, what are you currently creating?
Yeah. So we're building the largest community in the direct-to-consumer subscription space. As you can see, human buying behavior and the consumer buying behavior has shifted from ownership to usership. So you're seeing more and more consumers that are, we would call renting or paying things on a subscription, right? All of us probably, if you really think about it, have 5 to 15 different subscriptions you're paying for every month. And so we've been able to facilitate the largest community in that space, running the largest event and building the largest trade association.
Wonderful. And for the people who don't know, what is direct to consumer and what is the opposite?
Yeah. So direct to consumer is right from the manufacturer to the consumer's home. So typically you're ordering that online, it's getting delivered to your house versus going to the retail store and purchasing something where the retail stores purchase it on wholesale. But you see it with Casper, you see it with Dollar Shave Club, right? Casper is delivering to your home. Probably when Casper was going to launch, everyone probably thought he was crazy, saying nobody's going to order a bed online and have it delivered. Well, they're a huge company, right? You've got Dollar Shave Club, you got HelloFresh, you got BarkBox. These are all right to your home. Netflix, right? This is, instead of going to Blockbuster and renting a movie, movies are now on your TV at your fingertips.
CEO tip number 1, build an amazing team. What's your experience with that?
Yeah. I don't think anybody's built a big business without having amazing employees and an amazing team. Steve Jobs said it best. You hire people that are smarter than you to tell you what to do, not so that you can tell them what to do. I think it's just so vital. A lot of business owners fall into this trap of, well, I can do it myself faster and better. Well, it's one of the it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, right? You want to teach people so that they can run the business and you can focus on things you're really good at. The key of hiring a really good team allows you to put people in place that are going to maximize your business. Get team members that know how to do things that you don't know how to do so you can focus on building the business and working on the business versus working in the business. So I've done, through my entrepreneurial experience, I've noticed that when I've had really, really good team members, it just allows the business to grow and gives us the best opportunity for success.
The people we talk with have the most difficult time in hiring the first person, the second person. Mm-hmm. What was your experience around that?
I mean, look, at hiring's a guess, right? Firing is a decision. I think like part of the restraint, for some people, it's like, can I afford the person, right? I think it's important to take those profits and reinvest into people. When you're building a business, especially early stage, if you make 100,000 in profit, do you need that 100,000 in your pocket? Like, if you want to build a big business, put 50 grand in your pocket, and invest 50 into another person. It's going to pay dividends for the future. So, I think it's hiring can be difficult. It can be time consuming, but doing really good interviews and really focus on personality and work ethic. I don't care where you went to school. I don't care if you have a college degree. If you want to work and you got the right mentality and you're a team player, then I want to hire you.
Your second CEO tip is about how to spend like you are broke. But before we go there, let's move to the segment we call the Strategy Award. you can only pick one person who is doing things differently. When everybody's zigging, this person is zagging. But from your perspective, they are doing the right thing. Who is this person?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a friend of mine, Ryan Hogan. He's the co-founder and CEO of Hunt to Killer, which is a subscription box that brings the mystery murder to your home. And they just got awarded number 6 company in the Inc. 5000 list. What's so amazing about what he's done is that he's been able to take like date night and bring it home, right? He's been able to rekindle the fire of, you know, the relationships at home and spouses being able to have fun again and not always having to go out. And I mean, what an opportune time. I mean, he's been around for 3 years, but everything that's happened with COVID, I mean, you weren't going anywhere. So I have to imagine things have grown tremendously for him. But the way they put their marketing strategies together, the way they think about their business, the content around, bringing back date night and having something that you can do with your spouse at home. I mean, it's just so important, right? Relationships are so important, and they've just done an amazing job. And his business is booming, and he's a really good guy. I know him on a personal level. He's a good guy building an amazing business with an amazing team.
Why should we spend like we are broke?
Because when you do that, you don't get caught into this like sort of spending wildly. So I think, and this has calmed down a little bit, but like 3, 4, 5 years ago, and even now, like it was cool to raise money. Like instead of trying to build profitability, people were trying to see who could raise more money. It was always mind-boggling to me. When you get it, let's say you get an infuse of $100 million in a seed round, you start to make bad decisions because you've got a lot of money to spend, and you're not being frugal, and you're not making the best decisions for your company because you're like, oh, well, we have so much money. Let's spend it. Let's take shots. I'm all for taking shots, but I also want to be super strategic. And if you can build a business without having to raise money, then you're not giving up equity in your business. You're also not pigeonholed to like having to report to somebody. If you raise money, like this is no joke. I mean, they're expecting reports weekly, monthly, quarterly. You've got a board to report to. It holds a tight grip on your business. I mean, I talked to a guy that raised a seed round, and he told me that he's like texting his investor more than he texts his wife. I mean, that's not what you want to do, right? You don't want to have that stress. When you can spend strategically and you build your business as if every dollar you spend needs to be used wisely, you're just setting yourself up for more success. You're building for profitability. I've built all of my businesses to 7 figures with 0 investment and hardly any money out of my own pocket. The most money I've ever put in any business out of my own pocket was $50,000, which is not a lot. Every other business we've built literally ground up with hardly no investment. And it's because of that mentality and that mindset of like, we need to be super strategic in how we spend every dollar. It makes you to make better buying decisions. It makes better marketing decisions, and you get super scrappy. Maybe it takes a little longer to grow, but you're building for profitability.
Did you have at one point like the feeling, wow, now if I would take on some capital from the outside, I could scale this faster or I could do
Sure.
this better? Or were you always like, oh, fine, the client is funding our growth, it's validating it,
Yeah.
it's all good?
Good question. Look, I think there comes a point, right, when you've built this like foundation and you've got this equation for success, where in some cases it can make a lot of sense to go raise because it's accelerating the potential growth. I've not done it yet. It's crossed my mind plenty of times. I think that if I felt really good about the equation that we've built and the roadmap that we've built, and that my likelihood of success being there, knowing that if I got more money or I had investments come in, that we could grow that much faster. I mean, here's the truth. I would rather have, 40% of $100 million business than 80% of a $20 million business. If I thought I could do that, then I would do it.
That's a very good point. And it gets diluted also in every round.
Yeah.
So there is magic in bootstrapping. And so think strategically about growth. So wherever you are right now listening, think of the growth rate that you are going for. And really, how much do you want to grow this year? How much do you have to grow? How much do you like to grow? My old boss in St. Gallen, Professor Malik, he would always say, find out what the minimum growth requirement for your business is and go for that. The minimum growth requirement. And that was defined by understanding what the customer needs, understanding what's coming up in the markets, and having enough health to reinvest the profits in quality. So go for minimum growth. But then, of course, there are other philosophies. And we have clients right now in San Diego, in San Francisco. They tell us that 10x is the only thing they go for, and everything else is a hobby, is a lifestyle business.
Yeah, I think, look, it's all triggered by what you want to do and what you're building towards, right? There's so many different metrics that can be looked in so many different fashions. I mean, there's the top bottom approach, which is like, we want to do 30 million in revenue over the next 3 years. So how do we back into that? What does that mean? What does it have to mean to do over the next 2 years to hit that number? There's the minimum approach, which is like, we need to hit this number, which is like the break even approach, knowing like, if you hit this minimum, like our business is gonna, we did good, but like, do we want to have this like far reached goal that means we're hitting super success? I think the narrative around metrics and dollar signs is something that I'm more and more leaning away from. I don't know if this fits for all businesses, but I think that there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. So a business owner runs the local coffee shop or has the oil change or a restaurant, right? And things are very much measured by how much revenue is coming in, and it's very transactional. An entrepreneur is trying to change the world, in my opinion. And I think that if you stick to the core values of changing the world, and you stick to the core values of like what needs to happen in order to make that, and it's not a revenue number, it's not a transactional number. If you're, for example, if you're selling mattresses, well, let's say like Casper, direct to consumer, and their content is about like how important sleep is and how important, like, and how good our mattresses are that are going to give you a really good night's sleep because it's going to make your day better. And their metrics are like about how much of that content's getting put out. Like the sales are then just going to come, right? So that might not be the best example, but what I'm getting at is I'm a big content guy. I think content's king right now. I think if you want to change the world and make things better and you want to be an entrepreneur, then like focus on what that core value is. And then like the money comes. And like, I hate the goal of like, we need to do 5 million in revenue. Like I hate that goal. Now, I'd rather be like, we need to put out 5,000 pieces of content. Cause then like, I think the revenue is going to come.
Nice.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just today, I was buying stocks in a company called Square. I don't know if you know the cash app. Yeah. So, and I did it because even if we are in a recession, but I did it because I think that they are changing the world. So in 3 years, that might be a 10x. I think they are the Tesla of the financial world. Like they're trying to disrupt banking to make banks obsolete, so everybody can transact money and bitcoins and fiat on their own phone, and you don't need to get it out and in of the system. It's one system and it's free. So, and I would also invest in Tesla if the stock wasn't that high, because right now I think they will go down soon. But I bet, I believe in the idea, and I bet I am part of the purpose that they are trying really to change the world, to fast track the move to carbon free, to the right energies that we need. So I can resonate with that. An entrepreneur tries to change the world, but not every business that I built had the goal to change the world or to 10x. I had years where I had very, very big revenues, but a miserable life because I was just working too much. It wasn't systemized enough. And then I had years with less revenue, but we had a much better life. So right now, we help people find that stage of systemizing and delegating and having a smooth running machine where you can choose your growth rate and you can go for one or the other option. So this is really important. And your third CEO tip is love it.
Mhm. Yeah, probably the most important one. Um, if you want to be happy, do what you love. And I think everybody wants to be happy. I think that they think money is happiness. People will deny that and say, oh, well, it makes life easier. Well, yeah, it does. But do you want to be miserable working all day? If you love what you're doing, it's not going to feel like work. You're going to live, breathe, and sleep the business because you're excited about it every day. And if you love it, you're going to excel at it. And if you excel at it, you're going to do really good. And guess what? You're probably going to make a lot of money. I think that people go for the quick dollar. And I hate that. Nobody makes a quick dollar. Nobody made any money that didn't put any work in, right? Like you had to work. So loving it's super important. Find out what your love and your passion is. And, I just wrote a little blog the other day and it's like, you love basketball and you want to be a basketball player. Well, I mean, that takes talent and maybe you didn't make the league. That doesn't mean you can't go become a basketball coach. It doesn't mean that you can't start a clothing line for basketball apparel. There's so many more opportunities. And if you love that, that's what you should do. And money should not matter. And I think the money's just going to come. If you do what you love, you put the work in, the money will come.
It's about the dedication over the long run, and you will need that passion when things get tough, and they will get tough.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at if you're an entrepreneur, you're a firefighter. All you're doing is dealing with problems all day. Customer service, employees, manufacturing, like you're the one they're calling. So, everybody thinks being an entrepreneur is cool right now. 20 years ago, you wanted to be an actor or an artist or on TV. Now, being an entrepreneur is cool. Why? People on social media are posting themselves in jets and driving Lamborghinis and saying they just made $150,000 day trading. It's all bullshit, right? Like you got to work. And being an entrepreneur, sure, if you love it, is cool, but you are a firefighter. All you see on social media is all the people that had success. What about the 90% that failed? So for me, it's like, if you love it, you want to change the world, be an entrepreneur.
First of all, most fail, and also if you succeed, it's not about the picture with Lamborghini, because usually if you're an entrepreneur, you want to reinvest the
Yeah.
profits in the health of your
Yeah.
company.
Listen,
So
I promise you that the world doesn't realize all the rich people that nobody sees on social media. I mean, there are so many more of those people that live this humble life and have what they need and are trying to change the world that you don't even know exist. I mean, run to Silicon Valley and drive down, some of these streets, and you're going to see houses you've never seen in your life before. And I promise you, not one of them is jumping on social media and posting their, $3 million car, right? So, just my 2 cents on it. I think this young demographic is growing up, and they're getting influenced by things can happen quickly and easy, and it doesn't. Like you got to put in the work, love it. The money's going to come. Promise you.
So if young people are listening to this, and if you have this picture that becoming an entrepreneur is just an easy and shiny thing, it is tough. It takes years, and it means standing up and standing up again, again, again after many failures, and it's all about relentless, keep rolling, so keep moving, and it's keep moving because it's full of obstacles and of stones, and that's over a long period of time. And the ones who have a healthy business that can stand the time, the first 10 years of Jeff Bezos, for example. They have a very humble, very focused way, and a clear purpose, but also they did put in the hours. Which audiobooks or podcasts do inspire you?
Yeah. I mean, there's three guys I love to listen to. Gary Vaynerchuk, which I'm sure many of you know, Simon Sinek, and Seth Godin. You know, I have two dogs. I walk them every day, twice a day. I walk them right in the morning. Doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing. It's what I do every single morning. I walk them again at afternoon in the evening. Every morning, it's about a 20 to 25-minute walk. I'm listening to one of those podcasts. It's getting my day going, getting my brain working. Their ideology, the way they think about life, the way they think about consumer behavior, the way they think about mentality and perspective, it's just so good. I encourage everybody to watch them. I would say that there's other people that take this opposite approach that I don't like, which is the money, 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 you know, gotta, you know, like grind, more like get rich quick, bottom feeding for like people that are looking for hope that I don't like. And these guys, they're so authentic, and they look at perspective and mentality and want to make sure you're happy. And you never see one of those three driving around a Lamborghini or pulling up to their mansion. They don't show that stuff. I'm really hot on that because I just see it so much in social media, and it kind of enrages me, right? Because I think about this 19-year-old that's seeing that, that's like, oh my God, you know what? I'm gonna go pay $1,000 for this course because this guy made, you know, 10 million this year, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, no, you're probably not. Like, you're probably gonna fail. You know, like, you just lost $1,000. There's so much free content. These guys are putting out a bunch of free content out there. I am myself, you know, I've got my social channels, and I'm putting out free content every day, and I'm never going to charge a penny for it. And I never want to. I take 2 hours a week where I just jump on with an entrepreneur and give them advice on how to build their business. That's absolutely free. These guys, Gary, Simon, Seth, those are the ones you should be listening to. And they really put some really good perspective on life and business and happiness.
Is there anything that you want to tell us about the SubSummit in November 4th and May 2021?
Yeah. So actually got moved. So SubSummit's November 11th now to the 13th. It's our virtual event. It's going to be 3 days. It's the largest direct-to-consumer subscription event. Typically, it's live. That event has grown from 200 people in 2016 to over 1,000 people in 2019. I expect over 3,000 to register for the virtual. And then our next live event is going to be June 2nd to the 4th in 2021. If you're in business and you're in subscription, you should be there, as we've got amazing speakers from so many leaders from the space that are going to be speaking at that event. Registration's free for the virtual. If you're thinking about subscription, if you are in subscription, you should be there. If you're a brand and you're not in subscription, you should be there, because I believe every brand and every retailer should have some sort of subscription model. It only makes sense that with subscription businesses, you've got predictable income, you've got predictable revenue every month. You got a relationship that you're building with the consumer. These things pay dividends, and the biggest brands have a subscription model associated with them.
What are some cool examples of businesses that have started a submission, added a submission to their business model recently, and have good results?
Oh, have added subscription to their business? I mean, if you look at like Warby Parker, right? They were glasses and they added a contact lens subscription. Like, it's genius, right? Like, you've got all these people that are coming in, they're buying your awesome your awesome regular glasses, not sunglasses. And then they introduce, I forgot what it's called. I don't remember the name. They got a name, but they got a contact lens, right? Contacts get delivered monthly. Like, it only makes sense. Right now, you've got this predictable income. Nike did it with kids' shoes. I mean, there's just so many. I mean, look at like Burger King. I mean, Burger King introduced $5 a month, get unlimited coffee. I mean, how genius is that? You're going to go in there and you're not just going to get your coffee. You're going to buy a breakfast sandwich. You're now building a relationship with the consumer. Panera Bread, $7 a month. I think you get unlimited coffee. Who else is there? I mean, Cadillac's introducing it with cars. The Oakland A's are introducing it with their tickets to their ball games. I mean, it's everywhere, and you should be thinking about it. Here's a perfect example of it that everybody can relate to. 6 years ago, if you wanted Microsoft Office, you would have paid $600 for it. Maybe you would have lied and said you were a student and paid $150, right? Now you pay $15 a month and you have the software every single month updated, use it for as long as you want, cancel when you want. It only makes sense.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Chris, where can people stick around and read more about you?
Yeah. So, you can all my social channels are at Chris G Cares. Our SUBTA, which is our trade organization, has a free membership. Our YouTube channel has tons of content. In fact, I got the blessing and was so grateful that I had Gary Vee jump on a podcast with me, and we had an awesome conversation around subscriptions. We've got so much free content, and we built SUBTA because we want to help entrepreneurs grow. And if you're thinking about a subscription, SUBTA's got all this free content, and you should check it out. My Instagram is at Chris G Cares. I'm on there all the time posting stuff. I go on Facebook Live and LinkedIn Live every Friday at 2 p.m. Free content. And it's just about everything from subscriptions to churn to team building to relationship building. And it's awesome. So tons of free content out there. I love doing it.
Absolutely. Does Gary have any subscription business going on?
Oh, yeah. He's got Wine of the Month Club. He was part of Faithbox. Yeah, his wine club does really well.
Beautiful. Who should be my next guest?
Next guest. Oh, man. You know who's doing some cool things? He's a good friend of mine, too. His name's John Roman. He's a CMO at BattleBox. Their subscription box actually got a show on Netflix, so there's some cool things that could be learned there, and thinking about that transition and how that affects the business. They're also acquiring a bunch of brands in the men's arena, so doing some really cool things. And he's a good guy. He knows business really well. He knows marketing and strategy really, really well. So he's a good friend of mine that I think should get some spotlight.
Thank you so much, Chris, for being on the Strategy Show and sharing your knowledge and your journey with us.
Of course. Happy to be here.